I would just like to say that I believe that abortion is a fundamental human right that should not be infringed upon.
Do you believe that children inside the womb have rights? Should
Uh,
have rights?
So, before 20 weeks, no, I would not give any fetuses moral consideration because they're not sentient moral agents.
Why you pick 23 weeks or whatever you said?
Because that's when the components for sentience start to come together, and at that point, you can do an abortion that doesn't terminate the fetus.
So that's your opinion, right? That's your opinion on sentient.
I would say that
the establishment of a sentient being.
I would say
opinion.
that all ethical frameworks are just your opinion. So
right. So
yeah.
I say that it starts at conception.
I mean, that's
unobstructed. Think about this. If you want a apple tree to grow, then unobstructed as a seed in the ground, it's going to grow into an apple tree. A human being, all of us, started at conception. Unobstructed, we became humans. Over 1 billion people have done this already. Okay, so what I'm saying, and my argument is, and we may disagree in this, is that life starts at conception. It doesn't start at a person's perception.
Life starts at conception.
Yes.
But sentience, the thing that that's why we give people more consideration, right? Like for example, what is the harm in hacking up a dead body?
I mean, I don't know your question.
I'm at like what is the harm?
Mutilating somebody's dead corpse?
Right, but is the dead corpse...
Are you harming a dead person? Is that what you're asking?
Right, are you harming the corpse? Like what is the harm of the corpse?
You're disrespecting the corpse, but you're not.
Right,
you're harming the corpse, but you're not harming the person who's dead.
Right, because they're not sentient anymore. They're gone. In that same way, a fetus is not sentient.
That's not.
So it's not bringing it any harm.
That's not the case because the heartbeat, the life is gone. The heartbeat has already started in a
not a conception.
Well, I mean, they just are able. No, they're able to measure it at about 6 weeks.
Right.
That does not mean that the heart development hasn't started. They just are able to measure that 6 weeks. So if you want to start at 6 weeks, because once the heart has begun to beat, we can all agree that that is life form. And when the heart stops is when you die. So can we start there?
I would take 2 issues with that.
Okay.
The first one is that you said not at 6 weeks, but at conception. Moreover,
I definitely believe conception.
Moreover, biological processes and functions are not sentience. So that's the core of the issue.
Yeah, the sentient argument that you have, I understand, but I don't agree.
Right. Well, I mean, that's fine that
I think
you don't
we should
agree,
value
but
them
that's
before your articulation of a sentient establishment. I think that good with your opinion. I hear your opinion. I disagree. It should start at the foundation of when the child was created. The child was created at conception, unobstructed. The child will come to life. Let me just say this: if a woman wants a child, what value does a child have?
I think that a child can have a lot of value. I mean, some people want to start families, companionship.
Right, so only if you want it, it has value. Is that the argument?
No, that's not the argument.
So if a person, let's say if a woman is headed to an abortion clinic and she's about, 8 weeks pregnant.
Yep.
She's going through an intersection, a drunk driver comes and hits her. Baby dies, she lives. What should happen to that drunk driver as related to that child?
As related to the child?
Yeah, should he get charged for the death of that child?
It depends on how far along in the pregnancy was. Like I said, if the fetus is sentient, then I would say maybe we could add something extra onto that. I think we're getting kind of off topic because we're talking about
I don't know
abortion.
if we get off topic. We're talking about value of the life of the baby.
Okay, so
if a person, just say if a woman was pregnant and a daddy didn't want the baby and he got mad and punched her in the stomach before your sentient establishment, should he be charged with killing that baby?
He should be charged. No, he should be charged with
only assault.
Yeah,
not killing the baby.
No,
okay.
Because so you believe that because I just want to make sure I have you here right, that we're talking about the value of a human life, and I'm saying because you said I don't agree, but what I'm saying is that the value of a human life comes from sentience. The value of
according to what you believe.
I mean, I would say that there's a precedent for this. I mean, you even yourself said there's no harm to chopping up a dead body.
Because the body is dead. When you're conception
sentient.
is alive.
Right, but it's not sentient. That's the reason that it's
sentient or not is not the question. It's dead or alive, right? A person is dead. That's why you don't dismember. That's why dismembering the body is wrong. No, but it doesn't hurt the person that was in the body.
So the way,
it's dead.
So the way that we normally decide what is right and wrong is how harmful it is.
No, that's not true.
So then,
what if a person
I would ask you then,
what if a person
why is murder wrong?
Because you're killing somebody who's alive.
Okay, but why is that wrong though?
Because you're murdering somebody. That's murder.
So what you're doing, you're
taking their
making a
life away.
circular argument though. Why is murder wrong? It can't be
Well,
wrong because it's wrong.
Well, the way I believe it's wrong is because God said it was wrong.
So you believe God is the ultimate arbiter of
100%,
what morality
100%.
is? Okay. So
That's where most
then
people get their moral argument from. They just don't want to admit it.
So I would say then that I do not. You're going to run into a lot of problems using God as the final arbiter of what morality is, and that's
But
from
there's
a
a
lot
biological argument there. The biological argument
Well, no,
is
but you think that God is what determines what's right or wrong, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And so what I'm telling you
If
is
you want to have a
that's-
non-God
that's-
argument, I still have an argument at conception. There's an argument at conception is when life starts.
What I'm saying is that because fetuses are not sentient, there is nothing wrong because you're not doing any harm by performing an abortion.
So you admit that you're destroying the life of a person, but it's not wrong.
No, they don't have a life. They're not sentient.
But they do have a life.
They have a biological function. Of,
Right. I think, but see, the difference between you and I is that I think that you had the same value now as you did at conception. Because
Right.
unobstructed, you were here.
So
you were this person.
So do you
Your
think then?
DNA was you way back
Right.
then.
And like I said before, like dead bodies still have human DNA, right?
Right, but
So-
we're making
and-
you can't, the thing is that you're not manipulating the body of a fetus, but the body still lives. We're talking about killing, we're talking about taking a life.
So
It's not like a baby, like if a woman has a miscarriage, the baby is dead, right? And they have to dismember the body. That's not the same of killing the baby.
so
The baby was alive and it died.
so and I think I understand what you're like. So because you keep saying unobstructed, so if I don't want to put words in your mouth,
Yeah.
but is the idea that because fetuses can become humans, that's why you value them even if they're not humans?
Yeah, they are from the very foundation of conception. They are humans.
So
They just need to grow.
because
That's
be,
it.
so because they
Little
will
bit of
like
time to grow.
so because they'll grow, that's why it's wrong to kill
No,
them.
because
the same.
that's the foundation of human life is at conception. Do we disagree?
Yes, we do.
The foundation of where do people start from? They don't start in the sentient unless you believe that a spirit comes down into a body in the
No,
womb.
I'm saying like to be sentient is to like have
At what point can you kill? The point is that if you let the baby grow from conception, it's going to grow and be a person, right? If you obstruct at any point, you take the life of that and you dismantle the process, whether it's sentient or not. So the process from the foundation to the finish line is what it is. If you planted a whole bunch of orange trees right here and you planted them in the ground, and I went and dug them up, I've now destroyed all these trees.
So would you let a 5-year-old drink like alcohol?
No.
Why? Eventually they will be 21 unobstructed if you let them go. So you should let them drink,
No,
right?
because the alcohol affects and metabolizes in the body very differently at age to age.
Right, but
So I don't want to kill them because their body not capable of withstanding that. Just like
Right.
I wouldn't give a baby a vaccination in the womb.
So the point is that you believe that because a fetus will become a human, it is wrong to kill them.
I think it's a human at conception.
Right, no, you believe
Like
that
when does an apple tree become an apple tree?
an apple tree becomes when it becomes a tree, when it sprouts out of
No,
the ground.
no, but it's already an apple tree in the seed. It just needs to
No,
grow.
it's a seed.
Yeah, but
not
it's
a-
the apple
it's
tree is
not
in
a
the seed.
tree.
The apple tree is in the seed.
But it's not it's a seed.
It's the apple tree is in the seed. When you go to
it
plant an apple
becomes an
tree,
apple tree.
when you plant an apple tree, what do?
You put a seed in the
You put a
ground
seed in the ground with the expectation of what?
that it'll grow into a
Unobstructed
tree.
is going to be a tree.
Right, but the
That's
seed,
the way it's
But a
made.
seed isn't a tree.
If I have, just
Do you-
say,
wait, do you-
just say I
do you
made
think
money
an
on
apple seed is an apple
no,
tree? Do you
just
think
say
they're
I
the
made
same
money
thing?
on apple seeds. I made money on apple trees. Just say
Yeah.
I made money, and I gave you 50 seeds in your hand. Do you believe that you're going to make money?
Probably.
Do you believe that you have money in your hand, or do you believe this is nothing? It didn't have no value.
I think it's seeds that have I could.
No, when you plant a garden, when you do anything else where you're planting, you're looking at money. You're looking at growth. Unobstructed, this will turn into what you want it to be. It has it from the foundation of the seed. The trees are in the seeds. They just need time to grow.
That is it. I love that last statement. They need time to grow. Everything I see here is time. You understand? People feel like when they cut the process, then they are not doing anything wrong. That is how people see abortion. You understand? The heartbeat is not there, so let's quickly do it. At the end of the day, that baby is supposed to grow into whatever person you define that that fructose are as. But if you end them at that tiny age and feel like because they are not yet grown, they don't have any rights or they can't do this and that, then I feel we are just lying to ourselves. You understand? Because everything need time. Even me myself, I need time. When I was looking for admission, trying to get into college. I knew one day I would graduate, but I was confused on the kind of college I would go to. And one day I entered, I got admission, I and now I'm done with it. I think for like 8 years now, I think 8 or 9 years I've been done with college. But I remember the time that I was like having sleepless nights because I was worried. I feel like time was going. I need to get to college. I need to get my degree and stuff. So everything needs time. So when you go to work every day, you don't go to work and have your salary in your hand. You go to work with the mindset that at the end of the month, you'll get paid. So the service you are rendering is the same thing as the baby. You understand? The baby is in the womb. The end result of that baby is to come out and be like us. So if you say that baby does not matter or that is not a child, then it's like you saying the work I'm going to, I don't need to be paid for it because you have that mindset like this baby here is going to result to this. That is why people are afraid. They want to eliminate it because you already know the end result. And that is why I'm saying everything depends on time. They're trying to feel like, okay, we still have time. Let's terminate this. Let's end this. Let's avoid this. And the government is saying we are standing in to speak for those babies that can't speak for themselves. If I and you are being sincere, we know that whatever is in the woman's tummy is a child. But the best thing is we had the opportunity to decide for ourselves. We had, like, our parents gave us the opportunity. So let's reciprocate that same favor and give those children the opportunity, give them the best life, and do the best thing for them. That is, I think they said the best thing a father can give to his child is a good legacy, you understand? A good education. At least give the child a stepping stone. The baby is there. Let's try and forget all this. The baby has not yet formed or whatever. Let's give that baby a chance. It takes time. At the end of the day, you will smile. You know, before I lost my mom, whenever I'm going home, I have this joy in my heart that I'm going to see her. I went back home, that was, I think, a few weeks ago, and I was happy to go home, but I was sad because she was no longer there. So everything is time. So I think when your time stops is when you die. Even after you die, like, people still want your presence, you understand? So if we still feel for the dead, like we still wish they are here with us, then why, like, they are not here no matter what you do, even if their body is in the same room with you, they can't do anything. So why then can't we feel for that child we are carrying in our womb? Sometimes the childbirth is stressful, you understand? Even the process is stressful because I've seen people, vomiting, doing all kind of thing, adding weight. Like, sometimes some of them even find it difficult to sleep. That is the process. That is the joy of it. Whenever such a thing happens, count it as joy that, okay, I'm able to experience this. Because there are so many people wishing they would have the opportunity to even conceive. I've seen so many praying every day, spending countless amount of money just to conceive. And if you have that beautiful life growing in you, why then do you decide to take that life away? Anyway, this is beautiful. I love this and I want to see more videos like this. If you have any recommendation, let me know in the comment section. If it is your first time visiting the channel, click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching and remember this.